Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Sharice. So everybody has their kit. I know that the ones that I mailed out do not have the cardboard circles. They are a 2-inch circle, and you do need 2 pieces of it. They're actually from a Christmas gift box. It's too much.
Oh, go bright as you can.
Okay. All right, there we go. So when it comes time for the cardboard, you're going to cut both circles apart and tape them together on the back so that they're a little bit thicker. You have.
Excuse me, Kathy, can you project a little louder, please?
Okay, sorry. I think the kits, half of the kits have red and white floss, and half of them have the hot pink and white. It's number 601 DMC and 321 for the red. Here's the difference. So trying to find red floss in January is not fun because we all bought it at Christmas time and they don't have their refills yet. You have one small piece of felt if you choose to squeak, to dampen your felt and squeak your threads through it when we get to that point. There are 2 pieces of felt, red and white. You can choose whichever one you want for the backing for your pin. I figured the white for the hot pink and the red with the red. And then you'd have your choice. And then there's a small pin back that, oh, there it is. Okay. So that's your kit. And the pleated pieces, you need to take out and find your, well, we're going to tie them off. You need at least a 7/8 inch seam allowance on either side. There's more than enough fabric there to do that on all of them. You're going to tie off between 50 and 60 pleats to do the smocking.
50 or 60?
Between 50 and 60. You need at least 50. You don't need to go any more than 60.
Looking for what? Ah. Let's see if I had a you girl must be good with that. You girl don't do good with the eye distance.
Not yours. I do okay with it, not you.
I didn't even hear what that's right.
No, you didn't.
It's a
Because of all those other alphabet letters that you have. Yes.
Any one of them?
You want a number 7?
No, it says this is the back. Okay. Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome.
So I would go with the middle. Okay, it's an 8.
Should have gotten the nails taken off this week. So 50 to 60 pleats.
50 to 60 pleats. And you do need to mark the valley in the center with the basting stitch. If you need thread, I have it. You can pass it around.
Give it back, I promise.
You better.
Okay, so I need to Okay, so height. Okay. And I start from the middle to count my pleats?
No, you pull out and you leave a seam on the end.
Okay.
And then you count your pleats and then you're gonna pull out the threads on the other end. Okay,
So.
you need to be pulling out enough to have your 7/8 inch seam. And you want the pleater threads on the top of your fabric. And then you count your 50 or 60 across and then pull those other threads out on the other side so that you tie them off in bundles. It gets tied off to 3 inches.
Right? We're my thumb now, okay. I swear I teach kids how to do this.
I think the hardest thing in the world is to measure something that's less than 1 inch. Very hard concept.
Big advent.
Thank God for these. You know, hold on, look a minute. This is 1 inch. Do it that way. Leave the one edge, the 1/8 of an inch hanging off there and pull it off. That easier? Okay.
So we're just waiting for everybody to get their pleats
Everybody
counted
needs to
off.
get,
Yeah,
everybody needs to get,
just want to let YouTube
they
watching
should all
people
be,
later.
they should all be counting too. Some of them got they got their instructions earlier, so they could already start.
That's
I had an ivory spool of thread. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
They're like my cheaters. So not before I got glasses. I've had them all in the past. Now I have things.
I got
If I sit to watch TV. Well, I'm not even in the
Yeah, that's not it.
It's so small, and as long as you have it on your side. Oh.
Ins in first. There. Use your pins to count every 10. Mark every 10th one. It makes it easier to find your center one. You're welcome.
I was
It's
trying.
been a while since you've done this.
It has been. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
My brain's not braining.
Never heard it put quite that way before.
I learned that from one of my, actually, no, my child learned it from me.
My brain's not
Okay.
braining.
Just so I make sure I'm doing this right. It's the valley, this pleat valley, right?
You're gonna pull the threads out along. I can't see from sitting down.
That, okay. All right, nope, nope, right on me now. Okay, thanks, Mom.
Sorry. Do you have thread to baste your center valley? Do you have a piece of thread? A regular, here. We can pass this around and you can use that to baste your center valley in. I'm sorry, it's white. I thought I had the off-white in my bag. It's probably sitting home on the kitchen table.
Hey, Reese, do you think we can put the front lights on? Cause it's pretty dark over here.
They're having trouble seeing.
It's between.
Try it.
So we're trying to line of basting stitches down here. But it can still save pretty well.
Is that better? Oh, this is good because you can still.
Kind of like a dolphin.
You like straight.
That's serious. Such a busy day.
Just down that center seat.
It's funny how she responds to different names when you don't expect her.
Did you get a kit? You're just gonna monitor at night, huh?
I never do program.
Okay.
No,
So,
I can't do it.
Do you ever go back and do it after? Okay.
so do I tie this end yet, or I just count and then time?
You can tie the first end.
Right, like you did.
Yeah, I tie them in pairs and then tie 2 pairs together. And then tie.
How do I make sure that I don't accidentally like make it crooked?
Because you're gonna straighten it up with the other end.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Because you're gonna pull them tighter at the other end.
Yeah, I'm determined to do this one myself.
Hmm,
So I'm determined to do this one myself,
good.
because I usually make you tie them all
I
up.
like this. I do. I really like it.
You like it? Good. I'm glad. It was fun
Mhm.
till I got in trouble today with the physical therapist.
Yeah, well, the physical therapist doesn't know you yet.
Oh, it's my last night doing handwork for a while. Unless it's in a hoop, because this tendon issue is all over my arm from the car accident.
Oh, wow.
From 3 months ago.
No.
They'll get it released.
Although I did.
Hmm.
I said, hopefully they'll get it released.
She started massaging it today. And today was the intake, so
Anybody
she gave me exercises to do.
They're older.
She said, you gotta take it, stop that needlework for a while. And I said, tomorrow. I can't stop tonight. Why not? Because I'm teaching.
I'm an entry-level technician. They carry like kitchens and offices.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure her mom taught her person first.
It's just unimaginable to me.
Does anybody else need sewing thread to baste your center valley in?
Introducing it because
You don't need it or you do need it?
I do not.
Okay. Does anybody else need it? Because there's a spool over here that's making its way around.
Please, does
Is
anybody
it
need,
necessary? I mean,
I'm not gonna have that.
There's a spool coming around.
Okay.
If you need a thread to baste your center valley with, we have a spool that's coming around. Also, again, off-white, if anybody wants to use that.
I thought I had put the off-white in my box, but I didn't. I put the white in. Sorry.
I might have. Hold on. Oh, it's pasting thread.
Center thread.
18th century, I can read that too.
You don't want to use that.
I'm pretty sure I stole that from your house.
Oh, I'm sure you did too, because you haven't used that much thread. That one's a little bit off-white. That'll be better for you than the white.
I mean, I've got.
You don't want to use floss to do this. You could do the Metler, the pink. No, this. Oh, no, that's right. You do not want that. Nope.
You can take that home too. 90% sure I stole it.
You're trying to raid your box. Figure out what's mine.
I mean, why go to Joanne's so I can go to Joe Mom? Sorry. You know you missed that.
Oh, wow.
May I use yours to start?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
You don't mind pink?
I do not mind pink. I think you gave me pink anyway.
Did you?
I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
That's what I was trying to look under the list.
Somewhere between 50
My second one is pink.
Love you, mommy.
53 miles. So like I have 50.
Not 53. You want an even number. Yeah, because you're going to the middle and working from the middle out. You don't want an odd number.
Okay, did I do that right?
Mhm.
Now tie that
I'm gonna tie the other side off so that I have it to be able to do the.
This is why I sit next to you. Oh, it's my keys. You're so much faster at that than I am.
Oh, wow.
You didn't count any. I can't cut it.
There's supposed to be.
See, this is why I sit next to him.
I wish I knew. Put me on some of that Chinese cheese.
16, 17, 18.
There's some online.
Did you load up a needle with thread to do the basting?
I did not.
Anyway,
But-
I ordered. Oh, there you go.
This one, right?
Yeah.
It's an autoimmune disease, just a number of different autoimmune diseases.
They
It's like
cluster.
trading cards.
Yeah.
They cluster. They have to have a friend.
Yeah.
I'm up. I've either got 4 or 5. I can't remember which.
I only have the one so far. Am I putting an ad at the bottom or no?
Yes. You do have 2. You have thyroid issue too, don't you?
Yeah. 3. I think you're diabetic.
21. Diabetic is not one of them.
Oh. Diabetes isn't an autoimmune?
Nope. It is not.
Why did you have my phone in your car? Search to see if this is like it was not in the skin. Really? I wouldn't be able to check. Right.
I need the ruler back.
Yeah, you have to be so careful.
One time I was sitting in bed and I just shoes. Oh, business. Oh, let me. Oh, I know. I bought a Patagonia jacket that was $40, you know. There's no special. I thought, well, never saw that $40 again. Oh. But I went and I think I spent like $100. And when I realized that this is after the fact, of course. And I went and disputed it with my credit card and took it right off. Well, but it's like, I don't buy anything.
I'll look into it.
Amazon, to see it.
Yeah. Although Amazon, like, they don't check like their suppliers. So they sometimes will sell like fake whatever. Right. Under the name branding, so like I mostly shoes. And so they're black.
Okay.
They're black.
Just about.
I ordered them, they came and they looked like they're loose.
Did you-
The same style, like really. But I was like walking and the top of the shoe, I was like, that's not possible with leather. Right. And so I looked down at it, it wasn't even leather, it was just like, it was like a little leather, like a layer. Oh. But the rest of it was not paper. I don't know, it looked like the fabric equivalent of particle board. Oh. And so I called Amazon and they like, I got them from outside my backyard when she's just come out. Like my shoe. Oh, no, man. How did my shoe tear open? And you were like, oh, we don't really know exactly.
Yeah, like,
what
go in there,
we
like,
just
we
give
did
the
that
items
stuff.
and we're a market. We're not actually like.
Come up that way.
And I was like, okay, so they thought I could get even if they train your.
Okay, they said count over at 7, so we'll measure between 6 and 7.
Thank you.
And then they're not, they come over at 7 and 8.
Right, between 6 and 7, and then anything red out, I'm gonna be negative, it's always a light of 7. Yeah, I made things last. Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Okay, we are ready to start.
And it wasn't even like it was cheaper than like it costs more than what I just paid.
Yeah.
That's on from the dime in Boston. But.
Okay. Pretend these are all ready plated.
Okay. But is he eating part of that's because I'm making
bread now,
Okay.
and I have, what's with that?
Used
like
or not,
frying pan.
not manufactured. Yeah.
So, the bread is bread,
Okay.
so, although making bread is. But anyway,
The old fashioned way.
it's done, well, it's been delicious.
Okay,
So,
this is, we're now ready. I've got
maybe cherry bread.
the center basted in. Megan?
So I thought, well, in the markers, I can always
Yeah.
return it,
Mhm.
except it probably weighs 30 pounds.
Yeah.
But at least
You need to
trust us.
Yeah.
cut the thread, cut the needle off. So that we can do this. Okay, we're ready to start with the actual picture smocking on the heart. Yeah. So we're already down to half, almost the bottom end of the page. You're gonna find your center valley on row 4.5. Three, 4.5. And you're gonna move 7 pleats to the left. Yes, you're gonna thread up. You're gonna thread up with 4 strands of your floss. And you can either, when you put them back together, run them through your fingers, through thread heaven if you have it, or you can use the piece of felt and wet it, and get your 4 threads so that they're laying next to each other, almost like a ribbon. I've been able to do this with my fingernail and keep them going. So you're going to start on row 4.5. 4.5. Count over 7 pleats from the center. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're going to come up from the valley.
Almost.
And when you come up, you're going to go through the pleat to the left so that you stabilize this stitch. And once you get that stitch in there and stabilized, you're going to take those threads and coax them to lay next to each other. I found that if I go over them with my thumbnail, I can get them to lay pretty flat, because the only part that has to be flat is right before each stitch. So you're going to go from the outside of that pleat to the next pleat. So you do your cable. You're putting in 15 cables, starting with an up cable. So the first one, and as it goes down, don't pull it too tight, because when you pull it tight, you pull those threads back together, and you don't want them to be mashed up against each other. So I hold that thread down again. The next is a down cable. You're going to do 15 cables across. And again, when you get the thread down close to where it's going to be laying, pull it through and wiggle it with your nail, and go on to the next one. Pull it over and hold it under your thumb. That kind of presses it so that it stays together next to each other, not squashed into each other. And again, just tight enough to hold the pleats together. Concentrating.
I have never heard this group so quiet.
Me either.
Can you use beeswax also?
You can use beeswax, but when you do the beeswax, it melts in your fingers and it leaves a grease mark on your work
And it also causes the threads
to
hold-
grip.
to stick together. You don't want them to stick together.
No.
So wetting it's better. Like the floss a little bit, it's better. Well, not wet, but
So you
I don't even do that.
No, like Kathy, I use my thumbnail and flatten the threads and.
You don't have to flatten the whole piece. You flatten what's going to go
Yeah.
into the next pleat.
okay.
So you can see this here. Is that close enough? Is that too close?
No, that's actually perfect.
Okay. See how those threads look like, almost like a ribbon. The ones that are up on my thumb.
Yep. So
So
you're just going with the thread that's right before it's going
right
in.
before it goes into that stitch.
Okay.
You do it one stitch at a time. You cannot get this thread to stay completely flat because of the way that the stitches are done.
Mhm.
Every now and then you're going to have to let it drop. And I know I'm using much more thread than I need to.
Mhm.
I was about to ask, do we need that long of
No,
thread?
you should not have more than, it said on here. Somewhere Joan had it.
It said 28 inches.
28, thank you. So
Did you have a copy of the instructions? Okay. There should be your instructions on there.
So each time. And you need to pay attention or you'll end up with two down cables next to each other, which you don't want.
No.
Is everybody ready to go on to the next row?
No.
Is anybody ready to go on to the next row?
Yes.
You are not.
I heard a little yes in the background.
They all
I've
got
actually
their
done 2 more
instructions.
rows.
Pardon?
I've actually done 2 more rows.
11.
So this is the whole one.
Once you get this first row with the 15 in, it's easier to do the next several rows. Because you don't have to count. You know where those rows are going to end. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Down here, and those 7 pleats from the middle.
Mhm.
Towards the back end. Towards your left side. All right, so what you want to do is have enough. Come up in the pleat just before it, right on top of that line. So come up a little bit down. You come up.
Okay.
I got you. Thank you.
This is the 7th pleat from here.
Oh. I listened to the directions really well.
Stop. Yes, thank you.
Oh, there we have it. Towards the left.
You just need to be tighter.
I thought they were supposed to be tight.
They were supposed to be a little tighter than I have them.
You'll remember shit. Yeah. Oh, remember you did it. And she keeps blessing me. I'll renew it every time I get blessed.
I was just looking for this. I have a shirt.
You do. Yeah, we had different fathers. I think we had different mothers too. Yeah. We're not gonna turn it.
Okay, are we ready to go to the next row?
Also, their birthday. Okay, you went here. I'm so used to being 69.
Ladies, are we ready to move on to the next row? Okay, at the bottom of that cable, that last up cable that you had, you're gonna go back.
Going on to the next step.
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay, okay. Once you've got that 15th cable in, plunge your needle back to the back and turn your work upside down. So the row that you have is now going to be on the bottom, and you're going to stitch a row on top of it. And you're going to come out again in that underneath of the other up, well, it's now an up cable. You're going to come up like you did to start. Stabilize your stitch right next to the other stitch that's there. And this is where you start to stack your cables to create the picture. You're going to, again, pull that thread so that it's laying next to each other. It may need to be untwisted a little. Okay. So you're back to the ribbon-like floss. And you're going to start with a down cable right up against the other cable that's there, which will give you what looks like one very fat cable. It's not in focus. There it is. And you're going to alternate again up from the down cable to an up cable across until the last cable that you'll end up with two cables stacked together on the end. You're not going to come all the way out to the end of that 15.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I said that as much as I could do.
Here, you want to do this? Here. Do you want to do this? Okay, you're gonna going this way.
Okay.
Coming back this way, and you're gonna end
I had totally forgotten.
at that one.
Like this one?
Yes, because you're making the triangle.
Making a triangle.
You're making the
Okay.
triangle.
That's
So
in, push it down. Straight about.
here's how they're gonna end up when you get the triangle finished.
There's a really great site for if you're really interested in hand embroidery. And you may know it's called Needle and Thread.
Did you?
Yeah.
There's
Well,
a
it
check.
has Mary
Yes,
Corbett
it's-
is the business.
But it's not
And
bad.
she has a
You,
lot
but you're not, wait a minute.
I'm not supposed to be
You're
in the
not in the
valley.
valley.
embroidery sketch that you want.
Which way am I supposed to be?
Fresh on. she's very good about it.
Let me see
How she
which
explains how
one
to
you
do
did.
it. Excellent. Needleandthread.com, but it's an N, needle and N.
Okay, so I want it to be down the whole time.
Yeah, needle
No.
and thread.com.
It's down one and then up one. You did an up cable. Now you need to do the down cable right next to that one.
Okay, and when I go down the,
She has a little shop.
So
that
one's
you
up
can
and
buy
one's
stuff
down?
from, but
Yeah,
she-
they alternate up and down.
Yeah. The lady talks about all the different brands of fabric. She has these, like I said, she wonderful technique videos. Trying to learn different
There,
stitches.
now you've got
Excellent.
two stacked.
so now it's
Now the
down,
next
so the
one-
thing is up.
The next one is an up cable.
Up, but the thing is down.
This one is an up cable. Your needle is down. Okay.
The needle is down, but the thread is up.
Yes.
Okay.
No, nothing, there's nothing.
That's George.
I found it. He said.
Hello,
"Don't bring
YouTube
that
land."
For me, but.
Hmm?
Hello, YouTube land.
Crabs on it.
You'll be able to go back and play this.
And sometimes I saw
I
it.
hear myself being a clown in the background.
Who else? The long pauses, I'm gonna see if I can figure out how to take them out.
Okay, so now is that right?
Yes. The next one should be on top of that.
Okay, I mean, that's not too far up. Okay.
Good.
And it's directly into the next pleat, right?
Yes. My needle.
Huh? I stole your needle.
Yeah, you stole my needle.
You stole my-
So I just stole your needle.
The little,
We have plenty of space. No, whatever.
no, forever.
You have a word for special.
A 5-year-old that gets started and the little girl.
Going down, so thread is down.
So I have to show you.
Did I tell you that I went from my first?
I don't know if you did it again, but I remember
And,
Yeah, they were
I
the
said,
same.
I said, that's
Or,
good.
and I would go into the church.
Sarah graduated
And
and
I
So I
said,
don't go
I want you
into
to
it.
I
Go in when it's.
is your full of it, just a little bit before.
And
Just this, she has a little boy.
And then we took that, your insurance.
That's Sarah. Sarah.
I feel like I'm traveling too far.
That's her daughter.
Well, then don't go up so far the next time.
Okay.
It's easy. It's easy. Just don't go up so far.
I don't need to rip it out.
No.
Wow.
Okay. Does everybody have their triangle finished?
Then she says, but,
Does everybody have their triangle finished? Okay.
Slashing each
other's
other's
bras
over here.
Okay.
Am I?
this picture, same dress.
This one.
The rocking chair.
You just need to try and get it a little flatter.
I'm not gonna say. Because the rocking chair was on.
Okay. Once you've got your triangle finished, we're gonna go back to the directions on page 2, and you're down at the bottom half of the page again. You're gonna thread up again with 4 more strands of floss that are about 20 inches long. And you're gonna come up from the back above the first cable on row 4.5 and stabilize again. Now you've turned your work back you turned your work back so that your triangle, the point of it is facing you, the bottom point. You're going to come back up where that first 15 cables started and come up in the valley.
Yes, she is fast, but not that fast.
That was literally like last month.
Okay, again, you're going to straighten out your stitches, hold them to the other side or hold them down while you take your stitch. And you're going to match up that up cable with a down cable. If you're looking at your drawing, the sketch that Joan has in here on page, well, it doesn't have a number. It's the first sketch with the saga grid on it. You're going to have 7 cable stitches across. You're going to skip the center valley and then do 7 more cables on the other side to start to build the top of the heart.
That's 14-year-old. Little freshman. You had moved to Northern. Up in Massachusetts. They spent the winter vacation. Anyway, this is already set. Where does he go to school? In Boston? Salem, in Salem.
Okay, so I get to the end of the line and I bring my needle to the back, right?
Yes.
Okay, did I go over the corner?
Yeah, you need to go plunge it because you're
Okay,
you're up and you don't need to be there.
so I need to flip it and then plunge it?
Plunge it down
So in the same, like in that.
in that valley.
In that valley, that's what I meant, it's not. And then flip it
Yes.
and start.
You're going to start matching up.
So start.
No,
He's
you're not
done.
flipping. You're not flipping. You're going down that thing.
Oh, okay. So flip.
I said,
Turn your work
Does
top
it?
to bottom.
okay, then flip.
I'm confused.
Join the club.
Is everybody confused? Pretty much, huh?
I think, well, you know me, look what I do, Kathy.
You got a whole row. That's good. So, wait a minute. Let me see. No. I'm not sure you're down far enough. You're not.
Oh.
You were supposed to come down to row 4.5. You don't have enough room there to finish the heart, the top or the bottom. 4.5 of the rows of the pleater threads.
Yeah, that's 4.5 right here.
Some of those are half space rows.
Oh, well. It's okay. I'm,
Looking out the window.
Let's
of a
switch, 'cause I have the
plane
same color.
taking off.
And she's got you started.
So
I just did the first row with 15. So this to that is a whole space. So that's one. And that's the second row. This is the third row, but then we started throwing in these little half space rows. So that's 3.5.
There's a video
Four.
because I can't.
4.5.
I'm gonna choose that.
Things were so tiny.
Sure.
Yeah,
No.
you and I can sit down.
You're home for
When
11
my
minutes,
book my
Mike.
markers come.
No, but you just brought it for me.
Okay, so did you turned it and you're going back over? You always want to go left to right. So if it means you have to turn it upside down to go left to right to come back, then that's what you need to do. Okay?
That one, left to right. Left to right. Left to right. Okay, that's way.
No.
Okay, so you've got the 7 in for the first.
I'm listening. So I come in this valley, like.
Plans
You're gonna make your stitch over top. Okay, when you get the first 7 in, you're gonna plunge to the back, you're gonna skip the valley and come up in the next pleat beyond your center line. And again, 7 more cables.
I'll see that. You know.
To the left. I haven't been on that.
I don't remember. I didn't even try. I just looked at it, okay.
Yeah.
You know, and said something. All right, well, so I said, switch gears, but I don't.
Spent the last, then I got shopping and
Do all that.
closing and now I'm trying to go back to smoking.
Should have carried on doing. I don't know. With all the things that's done for others. Oh, my gosh.
Only 7 o'clock.
I miss her. It's really.
Well,
At school, he goes to a private school too, but,
Oh, wow.
they could dress up in their favorite character for their Christmas party.
Oh.
And so, I don't know who it was.
It was a pirate, yeah.
Oh, that kind of smart. I don't know who or what, but she's reading my house.
There's
Some
report.
Recent
Video or something, or movie. Has a pirate in it.
Well, that's probably it. That's it.
Because our neighbors decided to do that.
And the junior bridesmaid.
I don't keep up with it. No, I don't either. I don't either. I'm so behind.
I even did something, well, even though it was wrong.
You did, you did it.
She didn't realize.
I think at retreat, I'll be able to focus.
I won't be there, but you'll have Barbara there and Lindsay there, and you'll be all right at retreat.
Well, usually at retreat, I'm working on camp stuff.
My nephew.
Wow.
Taking years.
It took 6 months. 6 months.
And. Yeah.
We had December, no, we had January to
Place in
the end of July.
Jersey, 19.
Well, we went in February up to get your fabric.
in February to the end of July.
Her mother.
And the jacket
You know,
that she was talking about,
and that's where she gets
you
this,
know,
anyway.
bragging.
Then to this picture.
I can tell. Thank you.
I'm really proud of
And
them
she
all.
gets just stop my, say she doesn't have my
Uh-huh.
name, but
Yeah.
she's,
Oh, that's funny.
oh, did I make it smaller again?
Yeah, yeah.
She's
There she is.
14 years old.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing how fast they grow.
Oh, no, that jacket was unbelievable.
5'8.5".
It's going to Woodlawn.
Is it?
No,
Oh,
no,
good.
no.
This jacket?
Here. I hear the jacket pictures, Megan.
I was looking on Facebook.
It's not on Facebook.
That's why I couldn't find it.
But, she had,
I got it. I can
Look for the pictures from convention in October.
right on the board in the, New Jersey, New York. This is one of the.
In a minute, once I get this part of the heart done, I'm gonna demonstrate the next. And then I'll demonstrate putting it together because it's stuff too. They're not, nobody's saying in here to make it finished.
Football team in New Jersey. They do it like a cow. They armory there. I'm like.
Finishing up the heart, the top will have, this has 5 cables and then 3 cables in the next row on top of it.
Yeah.
And the heart will be finished.
Looking at the grid. The grid makes sense and the number.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Did you see that that was insane?
I did.
Oh,
yeah. Little.
Yeah, right up.
I have some mixed feelings about it.
I feel bad for Mr. Baker.
Yeah, he is still there.
He
Well,
wasn't ready
he's
to
not the only
retire.
one. But I feel bad about it. And Miss Amy.
Miss Amon's not there anymore.
Oh, okay.
She left a while ago.
It's like a
Two
chemical
streets
thing
off
in
of
their
it.
brain,
You know, I'm
but,
kind of glad Sister
George
Grace stops
Moore
not
used to
teaching.
be in Perry Hall.
And now people.
Yeah, it's now legal.
Yeah.
That's where
Miss
we go
Sibel.
shopping.
Okay, well, my
Sibel and Shaw
are
are
like
having
two
gone
streets
fixed.
back.
Okay.
We are in the Safeway up in Perry Hall. And I do more than that, but only by like 2
Go
minutes.
down and check it
Oh,
out.
okay.
Until you have an
So
actual
I live in Hamilton.
Okay.
Point, so you've got,
So-
you've got your last row.
The
is
water's
really
on
three
the
stitches.
corner.
Okay.
And I'm up the hill. I'm top of the hill.
You know, my daughter.
Yeah.
She brought her.
Oh, yeah.
If you go on the bottom.
9, 11.
Yeah, and she did on the.
Bless you.
Thank you.
So this date's your only child?
I tried that.
Yes. I'm going. So with my first daughter, I didn't have to train her because. Kids don't vote late. And the girl who always babysat for us, if we get out for her, she probably trained.
Okay.
She wasn't any older than me.
All right. I'm going to go on to the next phase, onto the outline stitch. So, because you can all go back and look at the video later. If we don't do this, I'm not going to get it all constructed before the meeting's over tonight.
Is everybody listening to Kathy? No, I didn't. I thought you were talking. Kathy, what page are you on?
We are going on to, yeah, I think it's page 3. It's the page with to create the frame around, yeah, the outline frame. It's on the bottom half of page 3. And you can follow along either with the written instructions or on the grid, on the drawing, on the second drawing. Actually, you need the instructions, not just the drawing, because they're not numbered. Okay, so this time you're going to only use 2 strands of embroidery floss. And again, strip them and put them back together. And starting on that same row 4.5, we're going to do a trellis stitch. So we're not actually doing any cables at all. You're going to come down 1 pleat with each stitch. 2 stitches to every half space or half row. Okay, so back again on the front with the heart facing you, back to that first row, and I left 2 pleats. I moved 2 pleats over to the left because you're supposed to leave about 1/8 of an inch from the edge of the heart to the cable, to the trellis stitches. You don't want them right on top of each other.
So you start in the 3rd plate. You left 2.
I am starting in the 3rd pleat. And it's just a down, 1 step down. Okay. And it does come out at a diagonal line. The next stitch will go into the next pleat to form the second of the diagonals. And you're going to try and keep close to that 1/8 of an inch. And it's tricky. So it's a half a space, a half of the half row. So between a whole row, there are 4 stitches. Most of the stacked cables are in the sections that are pleated on the half space. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to come down 9 stitches.
Is that pretty much quarter spacing?
Yes. 6. So your 9th one is going to be the 3/4 mark, because I think everybody's at that point is a whole space in the bottom. After you take that 9th trellis stitch, you're going to you're taking 1 cable across. Well, I think you're actually taking, it is 1 cable across. to give you a point at the bottom. And it does. Then you, after you put that, wait a minute. Okay, after you put the cable in, plunge into the back, and you're going to turn upside down again. And come back up. Actually, you don't have to turn upside down. Yeah, you just come out in that center, and you're gonna trellis right back up to the same spot on the other side of the heart. That's when we're gonna turn it. Yes. You keep your thread up when you're trellising down, and down when you're trellising up.
Say that again. So trellis.
With the trellis stitch, when you're trellising down, your thread needs to be above your needle. When you're trellising up, your thread needs to be below your needle, where it forms a loop and it doesn't do the thing. Mine aren't as nimble as they were 4 months ago.
Mine just aren't nimble.
Okay. So now you have your 9 trellises down and your 1 cable across and your 9 trellises back up. Now you're going to plunge that needle down in between those pleats and come out to the left of that same pleat that you started on, one thread away from where your stitch is going into the fabric. So there's just a tiny little space between the 2 stitches. I think you can see that. Now you're going to trellis 4 stitches from 5.5 to 3.5. But you have to do it in the other pleat. Add an extra pleat. Yep.
And I end up with an extra,
Are you down at the bottom?
yeah. And
I take another trellis stitch.
Take another
Yeah,
trellis.
and then cable it and then come back up the same number on the other side. I have the same problem, and I'm I'm not sure. And I had that same problem on all of these samples that I did. This is my 5th one now.
Yeah, had you been 1 pleat over, it would have.
Yeah,
I feel like I made a mistake somewhere on this side because it's like not.
you need to put 1 more stitch in right there.
Oh, okay.
So that means the top is gonna be off too, isn't it?
It may be. We may have to do, instead of 4 trellises, we may have to do 5. So that it's the right spacing.
So here, here, and through that pleat, or just here and through that?
It's right in here next to that stitch. You need to pull this pleat and this pleat together. So you're
Okay.
going into the side of that one.
Okay.
Easy to rip out. Yeah.
The trellis stitch is real easy to rip out, especially since it's only 2 threads.
Okay, so I did that. Sorry.
And then Barbara, I came out with the right number at the top.
Oh, did you? Okay.
It may be, yeah, because you're going to put 3 cables down in the center. I did 4 trellises up, and then it's 1 cable. No, it's going to have to take another one. It's going to take 5 to go up, so that you do the cable, the next cable. You do 1 cable, which should be, well, it should be right above the top. Pleat. So you may have to do 2. Do 6 trellises up, so that it's an even space, and then do the 1 cable.
This is also gonna be taller, so is it gonna be too large for that 2-inch?
No, because Barbara, you can see there's plenty of room. I'm actually, this one I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trellis, 3 cables, starting with a down, which brings the center back so that it's the down cable pulls the 2 pleats together to at the top of the heart on that one side. And then trellis down 1, take the cable, a full trellis down 1 full space, a half space.
I ended up with not only 1 free pleat on the right-hand side of the heart when I trellis back up, so I made a mistake somewhere.
Kathy, you held it up a little too high. We couldn't see the.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's perfect. Thank you. Okay.
So I've changed it just a little to get it to all fit. I'm doing a full half space trellis with the 3 cables, a down, an up, and a down, and then the other 6 trellises back to the side where we started. And then I think we're probably going to take a break for a couple of minutes.
Sounds great.
Show and share drawing now.
Okay.
Is that okay with you?
And there's snacks out on the table, so.
So, if you need to use the restroom, as you go across the center atrium area on the, left side, you'll see an exit sign. You go down that little hallway and the restroom is on the right-hand side. We have some refreshments and then Carol. Oh, she has some.
Going down.
Mine did too, and trying to keep it an eighth of an inch away at the top,
What's that?
unless you.
Yeah, I didn't engineer that.
This is good.
Therese, I was,
Well,
this is 3 all, you want all 3? Right.
I need a yard.
What?
Yeah, because it's an 18-inch style. It's not that big.
Okay, the next step, after you've finished your smocking, you're going to turn over to the back. And if your circles are already cut out, okay. You want paper, scissors to cut them out?
I'm gonna use these.
Oh, come on.
No,
You know.
those are good ones.
Yeah, yeah.
Stitches match up to make it thick.
Wait a minute, Dawn broke. What happened?
The stitches match up to make it thick.
Yes.
The light bulb just went off.
Oh, my God.
I like it when light bulbs go. She needed that today.
I'll be on YouTube.
No, I did not. Charisse might have, but I didn't. Okay,
Welcome to
Barbara,
Megan's Comedy Hour.
you're gonna need this.
Oh, Lord.
We all needed
Just a little editing here and there.
Just
I'm
enough
getting better at it.
Are you?
Yeah, just to stick them together. Okay, Barbara's gotten hers done. I'll show you the process. My husband's Christmas present that he never took out of the box now has no box.
Oh.
What gift did
It
he
took the
not
top
give?
and the bottom, one of his shirts.
Weenie head.
So I actually put the wrong sides, the gray sides together. So the white side is under the white fabric because it's just so that it doesn't show through. Okay. And then I'm going to take a piece of double-sided sticky tape right on the cardboard, put the other cardboard piece together and press them together. You're going to take a pencil or a air dry marker, the air erase marker, and draw a circle on the back so that it centers the heart the heart on the front, you can pull it over and tell how many rows you're gonna need of the smocking so that you can,
You go all the way to the edge of the cardboard. I mean, you go right up to the.
you go right up to the edge of the cardboard, because then you're gonna draw your circle and everything inside the circle gets back smocked. So the back smocking does not all end up, all the rows are not the same. They end up in the closer to the circle shape. Simply because when you go to try and pull this thing together on the back, you do not want all those extra rows of back smocking in there. You need to get the bulk out. So after you have back smocked, and it's just cables back and forth. I tried to alternate the rows. You do not need to back smock where your heart is. The center heart, where the trellis stitches are, you do, because it needs to stay together so that it keeps its shape. After you get the back smocking done, you're going to take regular thread again, and I went a good half an inch beyond beyond the back smocking to do the basting stitch. Can you see it? You see the basting? And then I pulled out all of the pleater threads. Yeah, I did it after. I basted the circle to gather it first. Then I pulled out the pleater threads. I still have not pulled out the center pleat thread. I have a top and a bottom to that, and it's still there. So the next move, the next step is with your fabric scissors to cut
Your papers.
about, I think now we're in the other instructions, in the instructions that I wrote. That are the first page is up through the cardboard circle. Okay. Okay. You're going to trim away the fabric. I'm sorry. It's number 8 in the instructions. Actually, it's number 9. Cut the excess of the fabric away outside of the basted running stitches. And it doesn't have to be meticulous. Just get it cut so that you don't have a whole lot of bulk. You're going to not cut very much off of the top and bottom. It's mostly the sides that had the extra fabric for the pleating. Don't want to cut that. So you end up with your circle like this. You do want your basting thread to be on the right side where your picture smocking is to be able to pull it, because you don't want it on the back, because then it'll be under the fabric where you're trying to pull. You want it on the top. So at that point, I put the circle back in and hold it and pull the gathering thread. Yeah, voila. It did it. Just like it was. Ignore some of the.
Planned.
Well, if you look at the picture of the one that's in the thing, with all the stitching back across it, you don't have to make all of those stitches because this actually pulled it right on up and tight. The same thread.
Kathy, put your hands down a little bit there. It's in the video now.
Okay. Did you see it pleat or
I
gather right
saw,
up?
yes.
Okay. Now it's going to be easy to go across and capture your fabric. Hopefully without a knot in the thread. You're not going to need anywhere near the number of crisscrosses that I put in my first one because I didn't think to cut away the extra fabric with the first one. Once I worked on it, I decided it needed to be trimmed down. So you're going to pull all this together. And once these are all in, and you've pulled them, you're going to see on the front a design in the where the back smocking is. If you pull it tight enough, it'll show the back smocking, just ripples, waves from it. Or if you don't pull it that tight, it'll just be straight pleats. I actually like the ripples in it. Try and keep it so that it's centered on the circle. When you think that you've got it in tight enough, you can tie off the thread, knot it and tie it off and cut it off. And then the next part is just to attach it to the felt. This would have been easier to hold it. The little clips. Okay. So once you have your back all snug, you're going to take white thread, not the off-white anymore, but the white, because you need to slip stitch your heart around the edge to, oh, wait a minute. First we have to cut the felt. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Okay. Make your heart either the red or the white felt. You have a square, it's a 4-inch square. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna come down. Fold it so that you end up with a triangle. And I put my pin button on the felt so that you've got half of the, half of the circle. And then I eyeballed it. Come up because you have the felt folded in half. Your heart's going to be symmetrical. And now you're going to attach the heart with a slip stitch between the pleated piece and the felt. I did it with a double thread. You can do it with a single if you want. But you don't want these stitches to necessarily show on the front or the back. And it's easy to slip stitch into the felt without it coming all the way through to the back. I came out from the back in between the two layers, come into the pleated fabric, and then just a stitch all the way around. And at this point, once you have that pleated button circle sewn on, all you need to do is add your pin to the back, and you could have your finished part just like this, or you can add a decorative edge to it like I did. Do you want me to show that one, to show that stitch?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's a buttonhole stitch,
Okay.
and you take 3 stitches into the same hole
Okay.
and then skip to the next one. And it was easy to angle it right on around.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's pretty.
where's the pink bag?
You buttonhole stitch and you stitched 3 times in each hole?
Yeah. Let me find the,
Instead of moving your needle when it goes in,
Right.
you keep it in the same spot 3 times, but you angle it.
you angle
first-
it.
You
The
angle
first
it.
one comes in at one angle, the second one comes in straight, the third one comes in the other angle.
Got it.
If you're doing 3. If you could do 5
Or 2.
or 2, you could even do just 1.
A long and a short.
You could do a long and a short, alternate them all the way around. And I did use pearl cotton for the edge. I used 12 on the red one. No, I did not. I used an 8. It's a pearl 8. The closest thing to in the pearl for the pink is not, well, it is. It's 601, but I have not been able to find it. I went to Joann's, Michael's, and Hobby Lobby last night. And then I went to the Stitching Post this morning, and they had 600, but they didn't, and 602. No,
Is
the
it
pink.
Is it made in? Does it I mean,
I'm-
not all colors are made in pearl, but that.
They don't make the 5. No, they do make 5. They don't make the 3, and they don't make the 12. But they make the 5 and the 8 in this color. But I can't. Joann's, Michael's, and Hobby Lobby don't carry it at all in the pearl. And Stitching Post was just out. I got they only had two spools of the 600. And the 600's close enough. I mean, you really can't, on the white, it's gonna be fine. So that heart is actually gonna end up on the white because the pink and the red are screaming at each other for me. You're gonna take your anchoring stitch down underneath of your heart and come up. And with your, keep the thread to the side, because when you do the blanket stitch, you're going to come in so that, wait a minute, wait. You're going to come in from the back because this stitch does go all the way through on both sides. Come on, threads. Wait. That's not right. Brain's got to work again. There's the second. The first stitch is in. The second, you got to have the loop on the outside. So that's not it. I got it now. Yes. No, there's no knot. There's no knot. It's gonna, now that I've got the angle, this is gonna come here. The loop needs to be on the outside. There's the next one. Now you're gonna come back into the same hole, come straight over. It's still gonna loop. Come back into the same hole a third time. Angle it out to the edge. There's your 3. Now I'm going to come over the same width as that top part of the 3 stitches. Go down into the felt. Bring my needle to the back. The pearl cotton is under it. There. There.
You just have a rest on top. You're not pulling it.
I'm not, yeah, because if you pull it, it's going to curl it.
Correct, right.
Ouch. It hurt. And the other side is going to look the same way. So you do this again at the angle, the same distance from this stitch to this stitch. Back into the same hole again. And then another one. And you just continue all the way around. When you're ready to tie it off, go under your heart. You're gonna come back out up here. Actually, you're gonna go under this threads here and then tie it off on the back because your pin back is gonna go on the back.
What if I don't have enough?
Then you have to,
Just finagle it.
you actually take the one stitch that the one thread that you're working and you leave a tail and you start another stitch back a little bit further. You're gonna run the tails through the beaded edge. You can see where mine is. See, that's where I added the thread and finished off this one. They have to be tucked under the stitches that are there on the back so that they're not as obvious. Okay.
I'm gonna post that, because next year when I finish it, I might
It's-
forget by then.
It's going on the website, isn't it? Don't you put the
Yeah.
YouTube up on the website? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'll send
you're
you
gonna
guys-
post it.
I have to take those long gaps out.
Yeah,
So after I work on those, I'll put it on and I'll
Yeah,
email everybody.
next year when I finish it.
I thought that was a part of being Saga. You have all these kids that you bought that were finished.
That makes a really nice finish to that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I like that stitch.
I do too.
If there's something
It's
else, I think
fun.
I could use that stitch for.
There are lots of things. I used it to finish off the outfit that Patrick came home from the hospital in. He's the 14-year-old this year. And I did it all along the cuffs and all along the whole jacket, all the way around and the hood. Yes. And it goes quickly.
Oh, it's so pretty.
The trick is trying to keep the same distance, the same bite into your fabric, the same depth of a stitch.
It's actually easier than doing just a single because you're not having to make everything line up.
Yep.
Like little soldiers because you've got a little.
Yeah.
I feel like the single's hard.
It is, yeah, to get it.
I feel like I put more thread out than I put in my thread. That's kind of like how it goes.
So there we go.
Somehow I ended up with a drunken triangle.
We'll work on your triangle another day.
I told you geometry isn't my
I know
class.
that. There you go. Okay.
Drunken
So when you put your pin back on, you're just gonna stitch it on with the whatever color thread your heart is. And I put it up closer to the top because I think that the top might flop over too much. There might be too much bulk in there if you don't. So I got it up pretty far up on that disc. And I did go in both sides of the hole and 2 of the 3 holes.
You try to catch a little bit of the.
I tried.
From the heart.
I tried. I'm not sure if I got it or not, but I know that I've got enough stitches around the button to attach it. You can't see it. There we go. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome. You all got your kits that I mailed?
Yes, we
Yes,
did. I
Thank
did.
you, and the presentation was great. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll see you all next month where Barbara's gonna be.
Gotta clean up those places.
Mine's dusty.
And I didn't put it in the things to bring with you, but if you happen to think about bringing a spool of quilting thread or whatever you would use, I'll bring some fabric just to do a little, if we have time, a little exercise.
Okay.
But I'll.
Are you looking for my heart?
Oh, you're wearing it.
I just want to. I believe it. I'm not taking a picture of you.
Your decolletage.
That's nice.
Is there anyone else who hasn't told me yet they want the activity kit for West River?
So we have several other people who've received invitations because of cancellations, and I have two that have